In a galaxy far away, humans and many alien species lived together under the rule of the Galactic Council. This council was made up of different alien races who decided the rules for everyone. They liked order and had little patience for those who broke their laws. Mia, a young human girl, lived with her family on one of these planets governed by the council. She was curious and loved exploring the ancient cities and huge monuments. One day, while walking through a city with her parents, Mia saw a gigantic statue of an alien hero. It was hundreds of feet tall and glowed with colors that changed in the sunlight. Without thinking much about it, Maya took out her markers from her backpack and started drawing on the base of the statue. She drew simple pictures of stars, planets, and her little dog, Max. To her, it was just a bit of fun. But to the council, it was a serious offense. A pair of council guards, tall and covered in shiny armor, saw what Mia was doing. They moved quickly towards her, their faces showing no emotion. "Mia, come here now," her mother called, seeing the guards. But it was too late. The guards reached Mia, their large hands grabbing her small arm. "What are you doing to our monument?" one guard demanded, his voice deep and frightening. "I was just drawing," Maya replied, her voice small. "I didn't mean to make trouble." The guards didn't listen to her explanation. In their eyes, she had defaced a sacred site. They took Mia away, ignoring her parents' pleas. Mia's father tried to follow, but another guard blocked his path. "No interference is allowed," the guard stated firmly. Mia's parents were desperate. They followed the guards to a big gray building where those who broke the law were taken. Inside, Mia was separated from her parents and placed in a small, cold room all alone. She felt scared as she waited, not knowing what would happen next. Outside, her parents argued with the officials. "She's just a child. She didn't understand what she was doing," her mother explained, her voice shaking. But the officials were unmoved. "The law applies to everyone," they said coldly. "The child must learn the consequences of her actions." Meanwhile, Mia sat on the cold metal chair, her legs swinging slightly because she couldn't reach the floor. The room was quiet except for the humming of the lights. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to stay warm. After what felt like hours, a door opened and a tall alien walked in. He was different from the guards, wearing a long robe that touched the floor. He had kind eyes, which made Maya feel a bit better. "Why did you draw on the statue, human child?" he asked gently. Maya looked up, sniffing back tears. "I thought it would look nice. I didn't know it was wrong," she replied quietly. The alien nodded, writing something on his tablet. "Your action has caused much upset. This statue is very important to us." "I'm sorry," Mia whispered. "I didn't mean to upset anyone." The alien looked at her for a long moment, and then left the room. Mia was left alone again, waiting and hoping to see her parents soon. Back on Earth, news of Mia's detention spread quickly. People were shocked that a child was being held for such a small mistake. Anger grew as more details emerged about how she was treated. Mia was just being a kid. She didn't hurt anyone, people said on news shows and across social media. Protests started outside the council's embassies on Earth. Signs were raised, voices were loud, and the message was clear: free Mia and let children be children. As the situation grew more tense, Earth's government tried to negotiate with the council. They wanted Mia released and sent back home. But the council was stubborn. They believed in teaching a harsh lesson to ensure no such disrespect happened again. Unbeknownst to the council, their actions were about to cause a much bigger problem. Humans were tired of being treated unfairly and being scared of the council's strict rules. Mia's case became a symbol of all their frustrations. In the shadows, plans began to form. If talking wouldn't free Mia, maybe something else would. Groups of skilled pilots and soldiers quietly prepared for what might come next. They wouldn't just stand by. They were ready to act. And far away in the cold room on the alien planet, Mia curled up, trying to sleep. She missed her parents, her home, and her little dog, Max. She didn't understand why her drawings had led to this. All she wanted was to go home. This was just the beginning. What started as a small act of creativity by a child was about to ignite a fire across the stars. The humans were ready to fight back, and the galaxy would. Back on Earth, the news of Mia's harsh treatment by the Galactic Council spread like wildfire. Every human heart felt the sting of injustice. Mia, a simple child who meant no harm, had become a prisoner for merely expressing her creativity. This incident didn't just upset her family. It ignited a burning anger across humanity. In homes, cafes, and public squares, people gathered to discuss the news. How can they punish a child so severely for something so small? They asked each other. The situation was clear. Humans were tired of being under the thumb of the Galactic Council, who seemed to care little for fairness or compassion. The government of Earth, feeling the pressure from its people, knew it had to act. Diplomatic talks with the Council had failed. The Council had dismissed Mia's act as a severe crime and refused to budge. This stubbornness only fueled Earth's resolve. A secret meeting was called among Earth's top leaders and military strategists. They decided it was time to show the Council that humans were not to be trifled with. "We need to make a statement, a strong one," the general said, pounding his fist on the table. "Let's strike where it will surprise them the most." Plans were drawn up quickly but carefully. A fleet of ships, armed not with traditional weapons, but with incendiary devices, was prepared. These ships were to target the uninhabited outposts of the Galactic Council, burning their facilities to send a clear message. The night before the mission, the pilots and crew gathered. They were not just soldiers. They were fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, all united by a common cause. For Mia, and for all our children, they toasted, their eyes hard with determination. As the galaxy slept, Earth's fleet launched into the dark void of space. The ships traveled at incredible speeds, slipping past border patrols and surveillance satellites. Their targets were the resource-rich, yet unmanned, planets used by the Council for mining and energy production. Arriving at the first planet, the pilots executed their plan flawlessly. They deployed the incendiaries, which descended into the atmosphere and ignited upon impact. Flames enveloped the mining rigs and energy converters. The fires, visible from space, burned with a fierce intensity, reducing structures to ashes. The same scene played out on a second planet, another hub of the Council's industrial might. Again, Earth's fleet left a trail of destruction. The message was loud and clear. Humans would no longer accept the Council's oppressive rule. As the fleet returned to Earth, the news of their daring raids broke out. People around the world cheered, their spirits lifted by the bold action. "We stand with Mia," became a rallying cry. The mood was one of defiance, but also of hope that this would bring the Council to the negotiation table. However, the Council's reaction was swift and fierce. Within hours, they issued a declaration of war against Earth. Their message was broadcast across the galaxy. "The unprovoked attacks by Earth will not go unpunished. We will restore order." Earth's leaders gathered again, this time to prepare for war. They knew the Council had vast resources and a powerful military. But Earth had something stronger, the resolve to fight for its people's freedom and dignity. As ships and soldiers prepared for battle, back on the alien planet, Maya remained in her cold cell, unaware of the chaos her drawings had sparked. She felt alone and frightened, but she held on to a small hope that somehow she would see her parents again. The galaxy braced itself for conflict. Earth was no longer just defending a child. It was challenging a power that had ruled unchallenged for too long. The battle lines were drawn, and both sides knew that the coming war would change the galaxy forever. The galaxy was on the brink of war. Earth's bold strikes against the Galactic Council's outposts had sent shockwaves through space. Now both sides were preparing for a confrontation that seemed inevitable. Earth, once seen as a minor player in the galactic stage, had declared its defiance loudly. The Council, on the other hand, was determined to maintain its grip over the galaxy. As the news of the upcoming conflict spread, ships from both sides began to position themselves in strategic locations. The vastness of space was about to become a battlefield of epic proportions. Earth's fleet, although smaller and less advanced, was driven by a fierce determination to protect their homes and families. The Council's forces, larger and more powerful, were confident in their superiority. The first major battle took place near a crucial space junction, a point that connected several travel routes between star systems. Control of this junction would give the Council the ability to quickly send reinforcements and supplies. Earth knew this and aimed to make a stand there. The sky filled with ships as the battle commenced. Council warships, sleek and armed to the teeth, faced off against the rugged, hastily armed ships of Earth. Lasers and missiles crisscrossed the blackness of space, creating a deadly ballet of light and destruction. Amidst the chaos, a young pilot named Lucas commanded one of Earth's fighters. He darted through the enemy lines, his ship's engines roaring. Each move he made was a dance with death, but Lucas was not afraid. He thought of Mia, the young girl whose plight had sparked this war, and he pushed harder, fighting with a passion that surprised even his comrades. On the other side, Admiral Zorak of the Council watched the battle unfold from the bridge of his flagship. He was frustrated by the resilience and bravery of the human fighters. "They are mere insects," he muttered under his breath. But as the battle wore on, he couldn't help but admire their tenacity. They fought as if they had nothing to lose. As ships exploded and debris floated through space, a small team of human commandos carried out a daring mission. Their target was not another ship but the very heart of the Council's command structure. Using a stealth ship, they infiltrated the Council's main fortress, a massive space station that served as their military hub. The commandos, led by Captain Elena, moved through the corridors of the fortress silently. Their mission was critical: rescue Mia and any other human prisoners, and sabotage the station's systems. The deeper they went, the more they realized the scale of the Council's operations. This fortress was not just a military base, it was a symbol of their control over the galaxy. Back at the space junction, the battle reached its climax. Lucas, now a known figure among his peers for his daring maneuvers, led a squadron into the heart of the enemy formation. With precise strikes, they managed to disable the Admiral's flagship. The Council's forces, seeing their leader's ship falter, began to retreat. The retreat was a turning point. Earth's forces, cheered by their success, pushed forward, seizing control of the space junction. It was a significant victory, one that sent a clear message: Earth was a formidable opponent. Meanwhile, Captain Elena and her team reached the detention area of the fortress. They found Mia and other prisoners in small cells, cold and scared but alive. The joy on Mia's face when she realized rescue had come was a moment none of them would ever forget. With Mia safe, the team placed explosives in critical areas of the fortress. As they made their escape, the charges went off, causing chaos and confusion. The fortress was not destroyed, but its operations were severely disrupted. As the commandos returned to their ship with Mia and the other rescued prisoners, they knew their actions had changed the course of the war. Earth had not only stood up to the Galactic Council, but had struck at its heart. The galaxy watched as Earth, once underestimated, became a beacon of resistance. The battle at the space junction and the raid on the Council's fortress were just the beginning. The war was far from over, but Earth had shown that it would fight for its rights, for its people, and for the little girl whose courage had started it all. After the successful rescue of Mia and the bold strike on the Galactic Council's fortress, spirits were high among the people of Earth. The galaxy watched in awe as humans, once considered underdogs, were now shaping the course of the war. The human fleet, inspired by their recent victories, prepared for what could be the defining battle of the conflict. The Galactic Council, realizing they had underestimated the humans, regrouped their forces. They were ready to launch a massive counterattack to reclaim their dominance. But Earth was prepared. their forces strategically positioned in anticipation of the Council's movements. The next major confrontation happened near a critical star system, which housed a vital fuel depot. Control of this system would ensure a steady supply of resources necessary for prolonged combat. Both sides knew the importance of this location, and it was here that one of the largest battles of the war would unfold. As the Council's armada approached, a tense calm fell over the space. The vast fleet, a mix of enormous warships and swift fighters, moved into formation. The humans, aware of their disadvantage in numbers and size, relied on their agility and innovative tactics. Commander Sarah, a veteran pilot known for her cunning, led Earth's fleet. Her ship, the Dawnbreaker, was at the forefront, its cannons primed. Sarah looked out at the sea of stars, her determination firm. "This is our moment," she broadcast over the comm. "For Earth, for freedom." The battle began with a thunderous exchange of fire. Lasers lit up the dark sky, and missiles weaved through the chaos, seeking their targets. The Council's ships, powerful yet cumbersome, bombarded the human fleet with relentless force. However, the humans maneuvered with impressive precision, dodging and weaving through the deadly ballet of warfare. In a bold move, Sarah led a squadron on a risky flank attack against the Council's flagship. They darted through a barrage of fire, their ship's shields flickering under the onslaught. Reaching the giant vessel, they deployed a series of electromagnetic pulses, a new weapon designed to disable the ship's systems temporarily. The flagship, caught off guard, went dark. Its guns silenced, it drifted helplessly. The sight of the mighty ship incapacitated sent a wave of cheer across the human fleet. Seizing the opportunity, other human ships swarmed the disabled behemoth, targeting its weak points. Meanwhile, on another front, a group of human engineers executed a daring plan. They infiltrated the fuel depot, intending to cut off the Council's fuel supply. Working quickly, they installed a series of explosive charges and retreated just in time. The resulting explosion lit up the system, the depot engulfed in flames, its reserves lost to the Council. Back at the flagship, the battle raged. Council forces, now desperate, tried to regain control of their ship. But the humans pressed their advantage. Fighters darted in and out, their pilots expertly dodging return fire. In the chaos, Sarah maneuvered the Dawnbreaker alongside the flagship's bridge. With a precise shot, she disabled the ship's command center, effectively paralyzing the Council's strategic capabilities. The fall of their flagship and the destruction of the fuel depot were devastating blows to the Council. Their fleet, now in disarray, began to retreat. The humans, buoyed by their success, chased down the fleeing ships, capturing some and destroying others. As the dust settled, the victory was clear. Earth had not only defended the star system, but had also dealt a critical blow to the Council's war machine. News of the battle spread quickly, and celebrations erupted on Earth and across other systems sympathetic to their cause. In the aftermath, Commander Sarah and her crew were hailed as heroes. Their bravery and skill had turned the tide of the war. The Galactic Council, now severely weakened, was forced to reconsider their stance. Negotiations for peace began to surface as they realized continuing the conflict could lead to their complete downfall. Back on Earth, Mia, now safely home, watched the celebrations with wide eyes. She had become a symbol of hope and resilience, the spark that ignited a galactic change. As her story continued to inspire, it was clear that this war was about more than just territory or power. It was about the spirit of freedom and the strength of the human heart. The galaxy had changed forever, and as the humans prepared for the final stages of the conflict, they knew they were not just fighting for their present, but for a future where such injustices would never occur again. After many fierce battles and great losses on both sides, the war between Earth and the Galactic Council was coming to an end. The Council, once a powerful force across the galaxy, had seen its strength diminish significantly. Earth's unexpected resilience and strategic prowess had turned the tide, leading to a pivotal moment for peace. In the wake of their recent victories, Earth's leaders called for a peace summit. It was to be held on neutral ground, a space station in a system untouched by war. The goal was simple but profound: to end the conflict and lay the groundwork for a new era of cooperation and understanding. As the delegations arrived, there was a tense air of cautious optimism. The Galactic Council, now led by a new chairperson, Lyra, who believed in diplomacy over dominance, was the first to extend a hand of peace. "We have all lost too much to continue this path," she said in her opening remarks, her voice echoing in the large assembly hall. On Earth's side, President Thompson stepped forward. He was a seasoned leader whose calm demeanor had guided his planet through the darkest times of war. "Today, we stand not as victors, but as survivors," he declared. "Our goal is not to extend our suffering, but to build a future where no child, human or alien, fears the shadow of war." The negotiations were long and intense. Both sides had grievances and fears, but also a shared understanding that continued conflict would only lead to mutual destruction. They talked about disarmament, about war reparations, and about the rights of planets under the Council's rule. One of the key points of discussion was the establishment of a new body, a galactic assembly, where all species could have a voice, not just the powerful few. It would be a place where disputes were settled by words, not weapons. The idea was met with approval from many delegates, tired of seeing their people suffer. As the summit progressed, stories were shared, tales of loss and bravery, of homes destroyed and lives upended. Mia, the young girl whose ordeal had sparked the conflict, was invited to speak. Standing before the assembly, her voice steady but filled with emotion, she spoke not of her suffering, but of her hope. "I dream of a galaxy where no one is punished unfairly, where every child can draw and play without fear," Maya said. Her words touched the hearts of many, reminding everyone why they were negotiating in the first place. Finally, after days of discussions, an agreement was reached. The Treaty of Unity was signed, marking the end of hostilities and the beginning of a new chapter. The treaty included measures to ensure that the rights of all beings were respected, and it established the Galactic Assembly as a forum for peaceful resolution of conflicts. The news of the treaty spread quickly across the galaxy. Celebrations erupted on countless worlds, from the bustling cities of Earth to the remote colonies of the outer systems. People who had lived in fear of the next attack now looked forward to a future of peace. In the following months, the impacts of the treaty became evident. The Galactic Assembly became a vibrant hub of diplomacy. Former enemies worked together to rebuild war-torn regions and to restore trade routes. Educational exchanges were established, allowing beings from different worlds to learn from each other. Mia, now known throughout the galaxy, became an ambassador for peace. Her story inspired many, showing that even the smallest voice could change the world. She traveled with her parents, visiting schools and communities, spreading a message of hope and unity. On Earth, President Thompson stood before a large crowd, reflecting on the journey they had all taken. "We fought for our rights, for our dignity," he said. "But let us remember that true strength comes from our ability to find peace, to forgive, and to build bridges where once there were only walls." As the galaxy moved forward, the memory of the war faded, but the lessons remained. People learned that dialogue was more powerful than weapons, and that understanding was the key to a peaceful future. Mia grew up in a galaxy vastly different from the one she had once feared, a place where her dreams of peace had become reality.